Now, opinion is divided as to whether the Queen's statement about seeking common ground and respecting different points of view will have any effect on the Brexit debate at all. For more analysis, joined by royal historian Kate Williams. Kate, good to speak to you. So, first of all, your initial reaction when you heard what the Queen had said to the Women's Institute in Sandringham?
Yes, well, I wasn't entirely surprised. I did think there might be some reactions coming, and this clearly is not just a off-the-cuff remarks. They've been planned, they've been discussed, they were released. That doesn't always happen. They were released. It wasn't a major speech. It was a speech to obviously the WI, as you were saying. And I think the Queen really does really back up what she was saying in her Christmas message about coming together. But it's interesting because the Christmas message about coming together was generally interpreted as about being the nation, that we should come together and get rid of the divisions between neighbours. But now it does seem to be interpreted very clearly as this is to politicians, and it has a much more political purpose rather than general discussions of being friendly with your neighbours who might have completely different views. It's now about the politicians coming together and getting behind something. But what that something is, it's hard to say. I mean, is she actively telling people to get behind Mrs May's deal on Tuesday, the vote we have coming up? Well, I don't know. I don't expect that. But certainly she's telling the politicians to create some kind of unity here, which it is sadly lacking. But then I think that reflects the problems of Brexit itself.
Do you think that when the Queen sort of makes these small interventions, I remember during the Scottish independence referendum, she sort of said to someone on the street, didn't she, I hope you think very carefully about the future. When she does make these statements, and it doesn't happen often, do you think it exacerbates or dampens down the kind of animosity in a debate?
Well, it's a complicated question, Tom, because in the example of the Scottish referendum, I do think it to a degree did backfire. There was some resentment, and then it does happen that if you are seen as doing politicians' bidding, which David Cameron obviously made it, he said that the Queen had more or less done it because of he talked about her purring down the phone. That was very problematic. And when she made the Christmas intervention, there was quite a lot of commentary about, well, the Queen's telling us what to do, and here she is in her golden palace. There was a lot of that commentary on social media, whereas normally when she gives the Queen's speech, she gives it all kinds of luxurious backgrounds and no one makes a comment. So it can backfire. I mean, she's in a very complicated position. She is the Queen, she is the head of state, and there have been, as we've all seen, quite strange calls of people like Jacob Rees-Mogg to suspend Parliament to get Brexit through. I mean, that was great for Charles I, wasn't it, suspending Parliament? He had his head chopped off. So there have been calls for her to step in, and we are moving into such political chaos, you might argue, that the constitution that we have is increasingly not fit for, it isn't fit for purpose, it's not flexible enough. Goodness knows what's going to happen next. So she is called on to leave, but she is supposed to be politically neutral. And I think, above all, it's a great concern for her what's happening with Brexit. We have seen other interventions. We might remember the EU hat, the blue hat with the stars on that she wore for opening Parliament. And I do think that it is a grave concern to the Queen what's going on. But the problem is that coming together is all very well, but there is, as you know, your correspondents have been brilliantly showing us this morning, there's a complete lack of planning. And there are so many different options in Parliament, and there are big divisions between Remain and Leave, that simply people are now, maybe say coming together in 2016, maybe that was possible, but people have chosen their camps now and they are very clear on what they think. And I just don't think that Parliament is going to simply create some kind of unity, because there's huge amount of division as there is in the country, and people are very wedded to what they want to happen.
Just finally, Kate, something you mentioned there in your answer, this idea of suspending Parliament and her being more involved. Could you actually foresee something like that happening? That seems so far-fetched.
I think that would be a mistake if the Queen was to suspend Parliament to push Brexit through. I mean, that completely contravenes her role as politically neutral head of state. It is her role to rubber stamp laws that come through, whether she agrees with them or not, whether she agrees with Brexit or not, she has to rubber stamp what comes through. So that would be a great mistake, whether she suspends it to get it through, as Rees-Mogg was saying, or suspends it to stop it. It's not going to correspond with the Queen's role. But we are in crisis times. I mean, we see this is a crisis for which there's no precedent. It's not like going to war, in which there is a precedent. We don't know what's happening. The Constitution is, as I was saying, it's in ruins. We have, even the Speaker's role is not clear anymore. So that the Queen might do something that we've never seen her do before. And indeed, there was push and peace Times this morning saying that other royal members might be making comments as well. If the Queen is to start making these interventions, it reflects, I think, the crisis period that we're in which there is no precedent, no rules, and the whole rule book is being torn up.
Well, we are in strange times, but that would be quite something. Kate, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you very much indeed for taking the time to speak to us.